This is Lee Dort, and I'm down to dunk. This is Lee Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
I'm Josh Giddey, and I'm down to dunk.
Hey, this is Kenny Hustle, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Darius Baisley, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Poku, and I'm down to dunk.
I love cereal. Captain Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cracklin Oat Bran.
Oh, I can have these. I'm going to share with my team, but I'm going to hog most of them.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, in a very unusual fry pod, it's Jay.
It's Jay. Sorry, not normally first.
And it's Alex.
Hey, guys.
Alex is here in person in OKC. Glad you're here, Al.
How exciting. I was excited for Taylor. I mean, Taylor's going to be here, but this would have been the daddy's fry pod. All the daddies.
That's
the
true. Dad pod. He'll be here.
He'll be here
For maybe 10 minutes by the time he gets here.
Yeah.
Just for his victory.
He's a very fresh daddy of two.
He is.
Not that he had twins,
Right.
but he just had a second.
His
one,
second. Yeah.
like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So he needed to be home this morning for a little bit longer.
Yeah. It's tough being a daddy. About there being a daddy. Okay. So
Being a daddy.
Alex, you wanted to talk about the expansion draft.
Well, yeah, which may or may not happen ever.
We don't know.
But somebody, I don't even remember where the original report came from, but the idea was that they were doing these preseason games in Seattle and Vegas, and the league was prepared to announce expansion plans
Yeah.
for those two cities, which it kind of all made sense. And you're like, oh, that's kind of neat. We had heard rumblings for years now. And like Bill Simmons, as recently as February, had given like a very long, detailed rumor thing.
He's talked about it.
He talks about all the
years. He loves the idea of an expansion draft.
Yes, and I love the idea of expansion draft. I mean, I remember when the Golden Knights, the NHL team,
Yeah.
came in and they had the expansion draft on ESPN, and I didn't know anything was happening, but it was so much fun. And if I had known what was happening, it would have been a blast. So I'm very excited for the idea of it, regardless of whether it helps or hurts the Thunder. But I did just want to. Oh, and I should mention that the NBA has come out and said there's no truth to any of what I just said. So we'll see.
Yeah. But also they wouldn't
Don't
want
trust
that.
them.
Yeah, they wouldn't want that to come out.
They want to control it.
Who knows?
Yeah.
It makes way too much sense. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, the NBA is as popular as it's been. Like, why not grow into two significant markets?
Yeah, and not only that, but like the talent base.
Yeah.
Because we were talking before the pod about when Charlotte came in 2004.
Yeah.
And like the players that were available to them at that time were so bad.
So bad.
And some of those players they actually acquired, like, because one of the things you can do in expansion draft is like if you were the Thunder and you had a contract you wanted to get rid of, you could pay Seattle or Vegas to take that player in the draft. Because so backing up,
Yeah.
there's a lot of different ways this could hurt OKC. We've talked for years now about how there's always something that comes up along the road of progression for this team that is an obstacle. And for a long time with the expansion draft, I was only thinking of it in terms of like, well, we got to protect however many number of players. We're going to lose some of these young guys. That'll be a huge bummer.
Yeah.
There's other things though too that I just like had kind of forgotten. For instance, if you had two teams, that's two more lottery teams every single year.
Yeah. I hadn't thought of that.
So you go from 14 teams in the lottery to 16 teams in the lottery. Every single one of those future picks now has lower odds for whatever top pick you're trying to get. I don't know if they would change the odds. Like right now you move up into the top 4, and maybe with 2 extra teams, you move up into the top 5. But that would be significant for the Thunder.
Especially because Charlotte in 2004 they were given the top odds.
So they weren't. I looked it up.
Oh, I thought they were.
I looked it up, and it was actually they weren't given. They were given the 4th pick.
Oh,
and the justification was we don't want them to just waltz into a top 3 pick. so we're going to give them 4. But then they made a trade with the
Yes.
Clippers to move up to 2 to take
that's
them
right.
to Okafor.
That's right.
So it'd be really interesting to see, like, would they just give these
Oh
two
my
teams
gosh.
like 4 and 5?
Yeah.
They just gift them those picks. So that's the other thing. So whatever the first year this happens, like, what if it happens in a year? And of course, we don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah.
But if it happens in a year when OKC has like some juice in the draft,
They get like the Rockets 6th pick or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's pushed to 8th.
and it's pushed to 8th because you have these 2 new teams.
Yeah.
And obviously that's just 1 year. And then in the future years, you would have the 16 lottery teams. It's starting to scare me a little bit more. Now, the one thing
Those are the things that scare me more than if they took, I don't know, Baisley or somebody off our hands.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I was listening to a pod and they were trying, ball pod, and they were
Yeah.
trying to go through the teams and they came across OKC
Uh-huh.
and they were like, oh, this would be such a bad deal for them to have to like give up someone like Baisley. I'd be like, honestly, that is the least of my worries right
Yeah.
now. There are
Please.
much bigger issues.
Yeah.
But the report gave no timeline.
So that's the other thing. Like the entire reason behind Seattle moving was that they didn't have a new arena, and they still do not have a new arena. I'm sure they've made upgrades to what was Key Arena. I think now it's Climate Pledge Arena
Mm-hmm.
because the Seattle Storm still play there. But is there any indication that arena is now good enough for the NBA?
OKC just upgraded their arena. They
Yeah.
spent more money upgrading the arena than it cost to initially build the arena.
Right. Yeah.
And it's not good enough.
Yeah, and they're already having conversations about building another.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Seattle would have to, in theory, like
Right.
Vegas just without question they'll just build it. It's just like they did with
Well, they have arenas in Vegas that are like ready to go.
like NBA ready.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because either way, even if they didn't, like they built the Allegiant Stadium for the Raiders, and like it's
Yeah.
beautiful,
It's
immaculate.
pretty
They-
sick.
like
yeah.
no question, they just were like, "Yep, build it. All right, let's go."
Right.
But Seattle, it's still the same challenge is going to be there today that it was 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Whenever it was that they're having these conversations.
Well, in Vegas, like you have like the land to do it. Like it's pretty easy. I don't know, like Seattle. Like, is there a good spot for it? For
And-
like a new arena? I don't know.
Listen, they're not giving the Seattle franchise to an owner who's going to request public funds. Like that won't happen. They'll give it to some
No
super
chance.
rich guy who, like Steve Ballmer, like the Sixers.
It should have been
guys.
Ballmer. It should
Yeah.
Ballmer should have stepped in before Clay did back in the day.
Whoever buys that will privately finance whatever stadium is coming in Seattle.
Yeah.
Because that'll just I think that's like how the future of this is going to go.
Yeah.
Like people have seen, I didn't know why I said Steve Ballmer. I actually meant the Golden State guys, but they've seen how much Golden State has made
Yeah.
because they privately funded that.
Well,
arena.
Ballmer's is going to build an arena for the Clippers.
Is
too.
that all privately funded?
Mhm.
Yep.
Well, like those guys are making insane money, and that's why I think the Sixers guys came out and decided, oh, we'll just build our own,
Yeah.
have all the rights,
Yeah.
and make tons of extra money.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which is ultimately good for the franchise itself anyway, because one of the things now with the Warriors is like, do they really care about a luxury tax if they're making like 5 times that in revenue on the arena every year? So.
exactly. So the question though is like, as long as they had a promise, or let's say they had broken ground on a stadium, would the NBA be willing to just move into those markets first before a stadium's built? And that would obviously allow them to move up the timeline.
Yeah.
Because if it does require an absolutely brand new stadium ready to play in, you're looking at like half a decade.
Yeah.
Which in that case I don't really care.
Right.
'Cause the Thunder will hope better be good.
Will we be out of the rebuild in
Yeah.
half a decade?
They'll still have picks, but they hopefully will not be as dependent upon them.
Yeah. But I'm more thinking like if they really did announce this now and they
Yeah.
were willing to move into these markets soon,
Yeah.
like it wouldn't happen this upcoming draft, but maybe the 24 draft.
It's possible.
And the other angle was, and this would really piss me off, is if the double draft happened in the year. Like in some ways, it would actually kind of like make things fair because you'd rather it happen in that kind
You'd
of. a
rather
draft.
spread it
Yeah.
all out than. Yeah.
But I was just having these like fever dreams of what if that first Houston pick, which is 2024, only
Yeah.
top 4 protected. What if that lands at like number 6, but in the double draft?
Yeah.
And now it's like way more valuable.
Yeah.
Look who it is. The 4th daddy.
Welcome to the Dad Pod.
What's up, daddies?
What's up, bro?
Sorry, I'm late. I had some daddy business to take care of.
It's okay.
Doesn't it always happen right as you're leaving the door, daddies?
Oh man.
Doesn't it
Every
always?
time.
Every
man.
time. Give me a break, kiddos.
We were just talking about expansion, Seattle and Vegas.
We're constantly expanding our families.
That's right.
That's right. So, before we leave this topic, we should probably just give an updated. So let's pretend that it is going to happen quick. It's
Yeah.
going to happen as early as 2024,
Yeah.
which means we're factoring into account the 23 first rounder.
Mm-hmm.
You get 8 guys to protect.
Yep.
I think we all agree: Shea, Giddey, Dort, Chet. Easy,
Mm.
easy, quick 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Would you go next? J-Dub,
Yeah.
J-Dub.
Usman, Jang.
Yep.
So that's 6.
Trey Man.
Trey Man.
So, okay. So Trey Man,
Mm-hmm.
and then the 23 pick.
Then 23.
Yeah.
It's kind of easy, isn't it?
It's really not that hard. I mean, guys like, Jeremiah would be one that I'd be like, oh, okay, because that's a guy that's somebody that you'd want to take because he's a good player, good culture guy.
Yeah, but it's either him or Victor Wembanyama.
No, it's either him or Trey Man.
Oh, true. Yeah, that makes
True.
more sense.
I'll take Trey Man.
Yeah, it's just the
It's more
need
difficult
for
to-
shooting and wing
Yeah.
play. I
Yeah.
guess wing technically, but yeah.
And so, who do you think of the guys remaining? Because now we only know the 2004 expansion draft when there was only one team,
Yeah.
and the rules back then was you can only take one player per team max.
Right.
I don't know if that would change if there were 2 teams, but of the remaining guys, who do you think, like if you were an expansion team, you could take someone from the Oklahoma City Thunder, who would you take?
I mean, at that point, it's like Kenrich, Poku, Wiggins, Muscala,
I'd take Kenrich for sure.
J. Will,
J. Will.
Jerry, obviously.
Yeah,
Depend-
Jerry.
So we talked kind of before the pod about like, so one of these teams that would expand, they're not building a roster to compete immediately.
Unlikely.
Unlikely.
You,
so
you apparently
you're
can
gonna-
do that in the NHL.
you're gonna
because the
more than
Golden Knights
likely
were, like,
take-
instantly good, But
Although you look at the amount of like free agents that are out there still, like you could feasibly put together a roster that would at least be something.
No, they would be really bad.
But you know what I'm saying? Like there are guys that are NBA ready. And then if you go through like the depth of the league currently, you
Yeah.
know, if you
It's
wanted
better
to go,
than
you,
04.
you could get Kenrich Williams and a few other guys that are, you know, the 9th guy on their team and maybe
Mhm.
have a decent team pretty quickly.
Here's a question. If you're an expanding team, if you're a new team, do you have to take a player from a team?
no.
I mean, you can't take a player from every team.
Yeah, because you can only
Okay.
take like 14, I think.
We might not lose any players then.
I mean, that's true.
It's possible, but you start going through the other teams. Because here's the other weird rule is that like you can't draft someone who's about to be an unrestricted free agent.
Mm.
So like all of these teams, like it probably won't be the Lakers when this actually happens, but a team like the Lakers where they had all these 1-year vet guys, those guys aren't eligible to be protected. And so if you can't get to 8 protected, which I don't know if the Lakers could have last year, you still have to unprotect someone. So that would be kind of like an interesting angle.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking over the teams because like the first team that popped in my head was the Grizzlies
Yeah.
because they're thought of as like a super deep team.
Yeah, they got a lot of players.
So like who would be available? So if I'm just going through it, like Ja, Brandon Clark, Dylan Brooks, Desmond Bain, Zaire Williams, Jaren Jackson Jr.
Mhm.
And honestly, at that point, like we're at 6. Like, I mean, there's other guys on this team, Jake LaRavia, David Roddy that they just took,
Yeah.
Kenneth Lofton Jr.
Jake
But
Lake,
yeah,
but at
whatever.
the same time, maybe it wouldn't be like
They'd probably
that much better than the 2004 draft.
Yeah, maybe not.
The Clippers were another one, just because they're also thought of as very deep. Obviously, it's more vets.
Yeah. Huh. I mean, you just think about it. I asked this question on Twitter yesterday, I think. Just like how many players on the Thunder today do you think could play in a playoff series?
Yeah.
Like play significant minutes in a playoff series. I mean, what guys would you say?
I mean, if we're being super honest,
Yeah, we're being super honest. This is a safe space.
super honest,
Yeah, this is a
like
safe.
Shea and Dort,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, like, how can you really know? You're just guessing. Like Giddy
coming off the bench.
Yeah, I think Giddy.
maybe
Giddy's
10,
defense
10
though
12
in the
minutes here.
playoffs, like he will be targeted.
Yeah.
And we don't know what that will look like. He's
He's big though, and he's strong.
he is,
He's big, and he's strong.
Yeah.
and he's strong.
And
Chet, obviously, if you're taking a guy 2 overall, you're going to assume that he can play in the playoffs at some
We
point.
better hope to God that boy can
Not
play
in
the
his
playoffs.
current state.
Not in his current state.
Not right
On
now.
a scooter.
Yeah.
But that would be 4. And then
Mhm.
I saw a lot of people say J-Dub, and I know that there's a lot of hype on J-Dub, and I'm very excited about J-Dub.
We haven't seen
But
him play an
rookie of
NBA
the
game
year.
yet.
have
Dude,
you
I
seen
feel
him
like
in the gym runs?
I feel like the hype is getting a little too much. I'm just a little uncomfortable with it. I would just like to wait and see him play NBA basketball.
You would?
Why?
That seems wise.
I just don't want people to be like super disappointed if he just gets off to like a normal rookie start. I think people are expecting him to come in and put up the exact same stats he put in summer league, which if he did that, that would be super impressive.
What
But
were
that
his
is a
summer league
massive
stats?
jump.
I think 30.
Yeah,
once
30,
again.
10, and 10.
50, 10, and 10.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Huge. I mean, he was.
But
incredible.
he's the other name people bring up, and I understand why. I mean,
Kenrich, right?
Kenrich could
Oh, yeah.
play.
Kendrick could play.
Muscala. He
Mm.
gets some.
Moose could play like 7 minutes a game in the playoffs,
A single
probably.
He
minute,
could.
1 minute.
Who are these guys that like? Okay, they could if the playoff team had a bunch of injured players. And
Derek
we
Favors?
needed- yeah,
Yeah, no.
right. It's like, okay, well, our
Yeah.
backup center's out. We need another center. Derek Favors is playing 7 to 10 minutes.
Or
for
your
us.
team's getting blown out. And you're like,
Yeah.
just rest everybody. Throw Derek Favors in there.
blowouts. Am I right, Tads?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
You are right.
Good one. I was thinking about it just because we talked on Wednesday, and Terrence Ferguson played 30 minutes a night for that
Yes.
last Paul George team.
So, like, does it even matter that a guy can technically play? in the
Yeah,
playoffs?
it's like I don't know. There's probably a lot more on this team that could like Aaron Wiggins is better than Ferguson today. Like I feel confident in saying that.
That's good. That's good for us, Jay.
Which
because
is like
we were
that-
really high on.
it's a low
Wiggins
bar
a
to
couple weeks
clear.
ago.
That feels so spicy, and yet, like, outside of OKC, it has like no.
It's more
relevance
condemning
whatsoever.
of Ferguson than it is like
Just imagine like
hyping
being a fan
Wiggins.
of another team and like listening to someone say that, and the other guys go, "Whoa!"
Like I couldn't even if I was picking another team, I couldn't even pick 2 players because you have to have so much context in that statement. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I think that's true. I mean, how many players? Here's another question: how many players on this team are better than Terrence Ferguson?
oh, let's go through the list.
The
Let's
amount
go
of the
through
amount of Ferguson unnecessary hate.
It's
'Cause
just
you-
continuing.
It does come up. A
You
lot.
even apologized on the like Ferguson doesn't deserve this from us.
He doesn't.
I'm sorry.
but
You know what though?
Let's try.
Like, we wouldn't be honest if we actually listed it out, because the way we felt about Ferguson year 2 is the way we feel a lot about these guys right now.
yeah,
We're assuming that all these guys are going to turn out in the same
I
way that
know.
we assumed Terrence Ferguson was going
Right.
to turn out.
Yeah. The fact that you're more hyped about Jalen Williams and would evaluate him and say, well, yeah, you take Jalen over Terrence Ferguson. Like that's purely in the moment speculation because we were all as hyped for Ferguson in that
Yeah.
second year. I mean, Royce Young was the
Yeah.
one that said he's going to have 15 and
yeah,
whatever.
that was the spiciest.
It's always there's so much context to the moment, but Ferguson had like the most difficult personal year ever
yeah.
in the most pivotal year of his career in
Mhm.
Oklahoma City.
He also couldn't dribble,
Problematic.
so
Damn, Andrew. Jeez.
just saying. J Dub can dribble. That's at least he's got one on Ferg there.
Yeah, personal issues unknown so
Unknown.
far. Yeah,
But
He's
yes,
also
we'll see.
J Dub is super cool, like a really cool guy.
yeah.
it feels like he's wearing pajama pants in every picture
Yeah,
I
but
see
it's
of
like,
him
what was-
now.
I feel like it's a little bit. He went to the memorial, the
Pajama
memorial
pants.
It's a little
Museum.
disrespectful. Yeah.
pajama pants and slippers. Like, but sorry, did we bother your morning?
They have to pull J Dub out of bed to drag him to the bombing memorial.
Did you see them call out poor Thunder Focus, the Twitter account,
No.
because Thunder Focus had tweeted a picture of them at the memorial
Yeah.
and said, "Here's Chet Williams with the other Thunder rookies."
Yeah.
Somehow J-Dub found the tweet.
Yeah.
And replied, "Other Thunder rookies, I guess, like we're no one," and like tagged all the other guys like Usman Jang.
Dang.
Yeah, he's
That's
active
my
on-
biggest fear, that a Thunder player will eventually interact with me in any way.
Terrence
Yeah.
Bergen's coming after y'all.
He's active on Twitter.
I'm not sure what. I
If
just
you
said
were
his
a
name
rookie
was.
coming
Ferguson.
into the NBA, though, I think that would be the time you would pay the most attention to Twitter and any media about you at all. Because I think you'd be
Did
so
you call him Chet
interested.
Williams, or did Thunder Focus call him Chet Williams?
No, I think I just
Oh,
called him.
Chet Williams.
Well, that's quite the error itself.
Chet
Thunder
Williams.
Focus.
Is Chet Williams like a country guy?
So
Chet Williams.
Jay-
Sounds
Because
like a pretty
it
good
didn't
country.
sound wrong when you said it. Like, yeah, Chet Williams.
good old Chet Williams. Sounds like a baseball player from the 1950s.
True.
Um,
Also, that sounds like what Dino calls Chet. God, Dean Blevins.
Dean Blevins.
Sorry.
You listen to so
Dean
much
Williams.
Sports Animal.
Yeah,
It's
you
on
do.
when I get off work, and it's like the perfect time to
Yeah,
listen to Sports
it
Animal.
is.
Right
it's
there.
good. It's
Okay,
legit.
well, it's not good.
No, it's
mean,
the perfect time to
ironically.
listen to it.
Is it the Total Dominance Hour?
Yes.
Hour.
It's Traber, and then it goes into Total Dominance Hour, and there's 2 hours right there that is just perfect.
It's like Traber talking about his hot dog thing for 90 seconds and then 5 minutes of ads.
Yeah,
Come
It's
back.
amazing.
it's so good.
It's great content. J-Dub only has 5,000 Twitter followers,
Wow.
which is interesting.
Wow.
So you can get in now, and he will be one of his few Twitter followers. He like retweeted a Down to Dunk tweet.
Oh,
you
really?
know? Yeah, but the thing is, like, people didn't know, because it's just.
Right, because we've got more followers than him.
I mean, it's true.
Oh, it's true. More people know Andrew Schleck than an NBA
That is
player.
not true, but like
That is
I don't
true.
know.
this is like that's a
think-
perfect
I think
that's
example.
true.
It might
It's a
be true.
it's a perfect example of like Twitter not being reality.
You don't think more people know who you are than
No.
J-Dub right now?
No,
I think so.
no,
Hmm.
that's the dumbest thing that you've said. You've said a lot of.
We should
dumb
have
things.
J-Dub
Hmm.
go around with a picture of you.
Who is this?
Who is this?
You know what though? If he did that around like the Thunder Arena, you might get a lot of like, that's Andrew Schleck.
I think you would get a lot of. I don't know who that is.
But
Well,
I
you
bet
have to
get
go
a-
up in the Loud City.
I bet
Loud
you'd-
City would know.
You'd get a lot of Mark Dagnall.
Yeah.
Is that Mark? Yeah.
He's a Thunder coach,
Or
right?
I did have somebody ask me when I showed them Mark. They said, "Is that you?" They're like, "No, that's you."
Or if it was like fringe Thunder fans, it might be like, that's Sam Presti?
Yeah. Is that Sam Presti? Is he a white guy with glasses? Must be Sam Presti.
I think that's Sam Presti.
Yeah. Oh man.
But yes, back to your original question. I do think it's weird to be talking about a 25-win team and listing like 8 players who could definitely play in the playoffs. Yeah, I feel like that will probably not be correct.
Yeah, that would be
So I'd
incorrect.
rather be more conservative. So I would say those original 4 that most people brought up, Shea, Giddey, Dort, Chet, those are like the 4 that I really feel good about. I
Yeah.
understand why people add J-Dub. But
Kenrich.
I don't think Kenrich, yeah.
I mean, I feel pretty good about Kenrich playing in the playoffs just because he provides at least toughness and defense.
Like
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, potential for J-Dub. There's some Aaron Wiggins hype around there. So maybe Aaron Wiggins could be a guy.
Let's just name all the guys on the roster.
There's some hype around Poku coming into the season. So maybe that's a guy that we could. Usman Jang is as tall as Evan Mobley, which matters.
Teo Maladon. Heard he had a great offseason.
Eugene Omoyuri is at least as. I'm just all right.
Olivier Sarr.
You know,
He got signed by the Blazers.
I know.
I did see someone in a Reddit comment say that this was their least favorite Thunder pod because it was so negative. So maybe we could start talking about the team in the way you
Negative?
just were. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Where we actually go deep on all 15. Well, I mean, it's like 17 or whatever it is now, guys.
If we're
Okay.
negative,
Oh, you guys are
What?
getting mad. It's one guy. It was one human on Reddit.
I
Who
know, but
cares?
I'm just saying, if we're negative, who do you listen to?
Oh, there's a lot more
I'm the
positive
most-
Thunder podcasts than us, I would say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You guys, not me, man.
We're more reality based.
There you go. Yeah. That's
I would
it.
say
I would
that.
say I'm
I'm an optimist.
Negative.
You are more of the pessimist,
Pessimist,
of the
yeah.
pod.
I accept that
It's
too.
balance.
Yeah, I think it's
It's good.
necessary.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. Vít Krejci, if his knee's okay.
He can offer a lot of versatility.
Yeah.
He may not be in the
And
NBA
heart.
next year,
He might not.
That's a reality.
And back
but
to
could
reality.
play in the playoffs. There's two options: either out of the NBA or get real playoff.
It's a thin line, honestly. It's a thin line.
God.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Taylor's terrifying me.
Yeah, there's I know there's a lot of
Just
movement.
A lot of fidgeting.
There's a lot of movement.
He's not sleeping at
from
all
the
right
daddy.
now. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. Okay. Al, since L-Man is not here and
Mm.
doesn't have a deep dive, do you have anything you want to riff on?
Yeah. What rabbit holes are you going down these days?
I'm actually going back to like so I did like cave diving for a little while.
Yeah, that's
Which-
yeah,
Horrifying.
It's honestly good. Like they're good, but at the same time,
They're good.
Well, I mean, like entertaining.
Okay.
But at the same
You're talking to your mic a little bit more.
at the same time, there's. By the way, Luke. So when me and my wife were on vacation one time, we were on a big a road trip, and we were listening to Down to Dunk, and you could not hear Luke's voice in the car. So like you could hear all the other three guys, but when Luke talked, it was complete silence.
Yeah.
It was like a little mouse whispering in the back speaker.
But in the room, we forget because he's talking normally.
Yes.
He's just so far away
And
from
he's
the
just
mic.
3 feet from the microphone.
But the thing about cave diving videos is that they all kind of end up the same, as you learn after you watch 10 of them. Like, guy goes into cave, guy gets stuck, guy dies. It's a very familiar arc. Occasionally, a guy survives, and those are very exciting because you're not expecting it going in.
Yeah.
Because all of them are called tragedies.
Yeah.
But some of these guys actually survive, which is
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
That's
God,
exciting.
dying in a cave.
So they're just telling the story.
Yeah.
It's not like they've got video footage.
Oh, no, not video footage, but they have photos of the people and they have photos of the cave and like what it looks like.
Gosh, man. Does it have one of those signs that says, "Don't go this way, people die"? And then they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna."
It usually happens where guys are going into familiar caves, but are like pushing the boundaries of what people know is in that cave.
God, that is a.
Do they ever
What,
throw
there's
a video
Balrog
camera
in
down
or
there?
something?
Like a GoPro?
Yeah, a GoPro with like a,
What, to go find a body?
no, just to like see what the experience would be like falling down the cave,
And then just
Oh,
and then reel it back up.
that would be so disorienting. I don't think that'd be a good video.
I think
You
it's a
can,
gr-
like,
I think it's
stop
a-
it.
you got to get a stabilizer. of
It's
course.
really fast, but
exactly.
if you stop the frame just perfectly, you can see all the skeletons at the bottom.
exactly.
Yeah, they actually do get these people out and we'll spend like millions of dollars. This one in Germany, they had like 1,000 people on the rescue mission because it was like that labor intensive. Because
Wow.
a person, I shouldn't laugh. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. A person got way down and then randomly just got hit on the head with the boulder. Like it just randomly broke off. They were doing fine. They were doing great. They'd gone further than anyone had gone in this German cave, and then just randomly a boulder like knocks off and hits them in the head. They didn't die, but they had to then rescue this like incapacitated person
Oh,
from deep in the
oh my
earth.
gosh.
So they had to put them on a stretcher and then like climb them back out, which is very cool.
Wow.
Survived.
Survived.
There we go.
And if you enjoy cave diving, then you get into avalanche videos, which are there's actually some really cool avalanche videos
Yeah.
because people wear GoPros all the time,
Oh yeah.
and a lot of time those people most of them survive. I would say when they have a GoPro because then they like know what they're doing and they call.
What's the survival rate? Yeah.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
anything else? What else, man?
Well, also, if
I
you
get a lot
have
of
the
YouTube
video from the
recommendations.
GoPro,
yeah.
that would normally be the survivors because the ones that don't survive, you probably couldn't find them.
Well, they're
So you
usually
can't
with
find the
friends, and if their
GoPro.
friends wanted to monetize
Their
They
death.
their friends, they could steal the GoPro.
well,
and
Twice
post it.
God here says that he is chilling in the hospital with a new baby
Oh
'cause he
god, I thought you were
couldn't-
about to say something like he was in
couldn't
a
sleep.
cave
He's
got
diving
hit in the
accident.
boulder.
because he was in an avalanche
In
No,
a
no.
cave.
in a cave. No, Twice God, congrats, man.
Congratulations.
Congrats,
Welcome
man.
to the Dad Pod, Twice God.
Welcome to the daddy zone.
All right. Well, we'll be right back after this quick break. And we're back after that quick break. Now it's time for some Twitter questions.
Twitter questions. You got questions and you ask them on Twitter. Now we answer them for you. This is Twitter questions. Now let's get down to it.
What is happening?
Oh,
Well,
total dad pod. Okay, our first Twitter question. I've got to pull this up. Sorry, everybody. Is from at KP4MVP. Hypothetically, if the Thunder somehow ended up with the number 1 pick in next year's draft, who are the top 3 to 5 players that you would consider trading for the pick?
is there anybody, if you had Victor Wembanyama,
Yeah.
is there anybody in the NBA that's reasonable that you would trade that pick for?
Probably no. I mean, if you didn't have someone like Shea and Giddey, like theoretically, if you could trade that for like someone like Cade Cunningham, I could sort of understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But for OKC situation, I mean, you just take the best player. And I think this question, you would have to be down at like 4 or 5. And even then, like I'm going through the Hoops Hype list of top 25 players under 25. And it's honestly just hard to find a name that right now we could imagine that team being willing to trade.
Yeah. Maybe if like the Mavs, Christian Wood just lights the Mavs on fire and they're like a play-in team. And Luka's like,
oh, I thought you were
get me outta
joking and talking about Christian Wood.
no. Like Christian Wood just destroys the Mavs.
Yeah, you would trade the number 1 pick for Luka.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I would do that. Giannis, if the rest of the Bucks get in a plane crash or something, and then he's like, yeah, I gotta get off this team.
Yeah.
It would take very extenuating.
We are the most negative pod.
It would just take very crazy circumstances for players like that to actually be available. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you. There was other directions to go to help that one.
But even like,
I'm not sure there is actually.
Yeah, if somehow he was home.
He's home with the sniffles. Yeah. No, I don't think that you trade that pick.
Yeah,
because realistically, the caliber of player that you would be looking at would be someone like a Tyler Hero. I feel like that's like kind of the range of what could potentially be feasible. And like, do you really want to trade a top? No,
not. I wouldn't trade a lottery pick for Tyler Hero.
And same like
okay,
10, 12.
That's a sweet spot.
Like, what about Desmond Bain? Like, I feel like that's the range of player that you'd be looking at. Obviously, a player that would help.
I mean, not the number 1 pick.
But if you had like the number 4, number 5,
no.
So if you're not doing that, then you're not trading it because you're not getting any of the players better than Desmond Bain.
No.
And it would depend on what is your team doing that year. Like, are they maybe a contending team?
Yeah.
Okay, then I'd trade a
so if you're the Cavs and you somehow got the number 1 pick, you don't trade that for Donovan Mitchell.
No.
No,
you don't. No, they're counting on their picks in the future not being lottery picks.
What about the number? No, never mind. That was not that. I was about to say, didn't the Wolves do just that for like D'Angelo Russell? That was a little further. It wasn't the Wiseman. Wiseman pick was the Warriors.
It was it was the 7th pick.
Yeah. They didn't know.
Kuminga.
I mean, they were expecting to be better
Yeah.
when they traded it. It wasn't like they traded the.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Knowing
picks don't
the
get traded. I mean, the one I'm thinking of course, is the Wizards when they traded
Yes. Mike Miller and Randy Foy.
for the number 5 pick.
Yeah.
Those trades don't happen anymore.
Yeah.
Usually now it's like for a player and a pick very close to it.
The one thing that you have that Wizards fans have to wake up and thank God every morning for is that they picked the wrong guy with the 5th pick. Like that's like,
thank God.
if they would have taken Steph Curry.
Yeah, that would get talked about a lot more
With that pick, and the Wizards fans like have to live with that every single
Because
day.
was it even Rubio or was it Johnny Flynn with the 5 pick?
I think it was Rubio.
I think
Okay.
Rubio was
Either
5.
either one. You're just like, whatever.
No big deal.
It's fine. Well, honestly, I'd rather have Mike Miller.
So was Steph 7? Did it go Rubio?
Yeah.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
Just
Trying to think of number 6.
Well, and also you literally just said his name and I couldn't recall it. Johnny Flynn. Johnny Rocks.
yeah,
Johnny Bravo.
yeah. It was Ricky Rubio 5, Johnny Flynn 6, Steph Curry 7. It's amazing.
It's amazing.
So yeah. Okay. Next question comes from @Thunder X fan. Is he
Oh,
an
an ex Thunder fan.
is he an ex
Uh-oh.
Thunder fan?
Or an extreme
Extreme.
Wow.
I bet it's an extreme fan.
Do any current Thunder players have a good chance to break into the top of any stat categories for the Thunder? Points, assists, rebounds, blocks.
Oh, so they're talking about franchise.
Yes,
So like career leaders.
I would say Chet will have a chance with blocks.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you think any current players are well? This will be one of the nice things about if they do expansion, that we will be separated from the Seattle records on Basketball Reference,
Right.
so that now when we look at like career leaders, it won't be all these Seattle guys.
Right.
That would be much more helpful to answer a question like this, because I was going to look up like, well, maybe like someone is close
No.
in terms of 3-pointers, like because Paul George is 9 all time and he
I know.
played here for like 2 years, so like it's
Right.
not crazy to imagine that
Right.
someone could. Oh, that's field goal attempts. Oh yeah, he's still 9. So it's not crazy to imagine that someone like Shea could get to on the top 10 of 3-pointers very quickly.
Right.
In fact, he might already be there.
Wow, Rashard Lewis has more made 3-point field goals than Russell Westbrook.
That's all he did.
Yeah, but back then it's
That's still
just
pretty
like-
wild.
It's still wild. They just didn't take as many threes back then.
Yeah, the fact that Russ only had 922 made threes
Yeah.
just feels weird.
So Shea's at 298 threes now, averaging
Yeah.
about 80 per year. I bet that goes up if he can play more. He'll go up to 100. He'll be in the top 10 within like a year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes sense that, especially with the way the league is going, that probably 3-point. I don't know if you can get higher than. Is it KD is the leader? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get higher than that. Like, but depending how long the career is, they're going to shoot more.
Yeah, somebody will, because even KD is only at 1,000, like 1,100 for the franchise, and that's in the grand scheme of things not that much. And plus, again, his Sonics threes will get wiped out. So
Russ
that number will come down a little bit.
Russ
that's
only
true.
had 5 more than Gary Payton.
Mm-hmm.
The glove.
Zeglar.
That's true.
So I think Giddey theoretically with assists, if he was here long term, he would. I would definitely think he's going to make the top 10. If you're,
Yeah, I
assuming
mean,
that
he'll
Giddey's
be in
here.
the top 5 in like a couple of years, with this team, because like the only person getting assists for a decade was Russell Westbrook.
Right.
He's got almost 7,000, and that's a lot.
This is so
Jeez.
crazy. So the top 10 list is 8 of the 10 are Sonics guys. Obviously, the 2 from OKC are Westbrook at around 7,000 and KD down at 2,300.
Yeah,
That's how big the gap
Wow.
is.
that's what I'm saying. Like Giddey will be there.
He'll be there shortly.
Yeah, he'll be in the top 3 soon. Because like who's even the third
How many years would it take
for the
if he-
Thunder?
if he averaged
Uh,
10, it would still take him 9 years to get there.
To pass Westbrook?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to.
that is wild.
I don't even know who would be.
Like who would that be? Like we can't see it on
Yeah,
the expanded Basketball Reference, but like who would that even be?
third in assists for the Thunder. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah, I have no clue who that would be.
Hmm.
And it's probably something hilariously low. Like it's like Steven Adams with like
It probably is Steven Adams.
1,000 or something.
Or Nick. No, he's on there. Is he on there?
No.
Mm-mm.
What about Reggie? He's
could
only here
be.
He
for
wasn't
2
here for
years.
long
I
enough.
know.
Yeah.
Going here long enough. That's why like it'd be like more of like longevity with like Steve-O.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it could be Nick. But Nick just didn't play that much. Like Steven played 30 minutes a night.
Yeah, but Nick did early.
Yeah, but he just never had the
Some
ball.
of them Seattle days.
And Steve never had the ball. either.
Steve-O is at 615,
Okay.
which is decent amount.
Yeah.
Just in Oklahoma City.
Yeah. And do you want to know Nick Collison?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we are not including his Seattle days.
Mm-hmm.
Not including his Seattle days.
Okay. He had 638.
Hey.
Wow.
I don't remember what I said.
Yeah, I
for
don't
Steven
either.
Adams.
They're
Oh.
615.
Okay. So
Yeah.
pretty close.
Nice.
Awesome
Yeah.
job, guys.
Friday stat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Twitter question.
At Shay_step. Name your ultimate 3-course meal plus drink.
Oh, ultimate 3-course meal. Egg roll.
Course 1, egg roll.
Egg roll.
Single egg roll. Course 2, noodle.
Course 2. Course 2, second egg roll. Course 3.
I can just see in your face how utterly exhausted you are.
Yeah, I am, but I don't. There's a sense of euphoria with it, though, which is strange.
Yeah.
All right, so appetizers.
You got classics like you got Caesar salads. Is anyone going salad here?
I wouldn't go Caesar salad, but yeah, I could go salad.
You wouldn't go Caesar, huh?
Nah.
Ultimate threesome we're talking about here. So is salad in there?
Yeah.
Okay, let's toss one of those up. And then where are we going second?
What other appetizer would you want though? Because salad may
I don't know.
not be the
All of
best.
them are like when you go 3-course meal, you're like they're all so like everything's fried. I'm trying to think of like
Spring rolls?
spring rolls, one egg
Nice.
roll.
Ooh, fried spring rolls, yeah.
No.
In
the ones
Vegas,
that are
we had
wrapped
like
in.
this pork belly, like
Ooh, like
some kind of dish. I don't even know what to call it, but it
Mm.
was
I like gyoza.
unbelievable.
Yeah, gyoza.
Gyoza's good.
Mhm.
What if you thought outside the box a little bit? Because I was thinking,
Ice cream?
yeah. Yeah, what if just
Andrew's like, it started off with a bowl of cereal. Next, let's add some ice cream.
and then candy.
And then
As an 8-year-old.
finishing with some Skittles.
And then a
And-
Slurpee for my drink.
Yeah, can I have coffee with that third course too? Coffee and Skittles, please.
No, I was thinking, what if you
Sounds
did a
pretty good.
3-course meal where every course was a different meal of the day? So your first course was breakfast, your favorite breakfast. Second course lunch, your favorite lunch. Third course dinner, favorite dinner. Now, finding a
That's
drink.
a big meal. 3 meals?
Yeah.
Would there be mini meals?
No, I think full
Full.
meals. It's a challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this has really changed.
It's also the rules of this are that you can eat however much you want.
Yeah, it's
Whatever.
your
You
meal.
You won't be uncomfortable.
It's your ultimate meal.
Wow.
You don't even have to eat it.
It's like a superpower.
That would be a great superpower.
The hard part is like for your first, like for breakfast, is it just one item?
Mm.
So you can have French toast,
Mm.
or can you have like a
you know, whatever you want.
bacon, eggs?
This is
Yeah.
Sausage,
That counts as a
ultimate meal.
meal. 'cause
Ultimate
you
meal.
can-
That's
you know,
that's one three.
like a
That's one
farmer's
course.
breakfast. Yeah.
Have you guys ever watched like Guys on Death Row? Obviously, you know.
what? This is a
It's
weird.
all
This
death.
is a
It's
weird
all
podcast.
death.
Have you ever watched Guys on Death Row?
I almost
No?
made a joke before you even said that, and I knew, he's probably going there anyway.
Historically, they were given a last meal, which actually has like been restricted significantly. There's a really good documentary about it, and like guys in the past, they had no restrictions on it, and guys would order absurd amounts of food, and back then they would just have to do it. Like a
that's
guy would
great.
order, like 24 pieces of French toast, and
Mhm.
in addition to everything else they were ordering,
Yeah, sounds awesome.
and they would just have to fill it. So it's your ultimate meal. Of course, I'm thinking like this is my last meal. Why would I
Yeah.
not? When else am I eating my ultimate 3-course meal?
Yeah. Well, you
So
can
what's
have a
the
better
lunch
life than
meal?
this, Alex.
The what?
What's
Hey,
the lunch meal?
Jess African Kiwi in the comments to take us away from the 25 French toast says that Shay is probably third in assists at the moment,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is correct. He's
Oh,
got like
that's-
800.
That's a
something.
good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about him.
Thank you, Jess.
That'd be funny. If it was
What about
Chris
Chet
Paul
Williams
or-
though? Where's he at?
Chet Williams, hold on.
Breakfast. I'm going breakfast burrito.
Oh yeah, where from?
I'm creating it. So it's just a perfect breakfast burrito.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask about details. Lunch, I'm going some Mongolian beef.
Yeah.
Fried rice. And for dinner, I'm going Thai fried rice combination.
All right.
Okay.
Nice.
So
And I'm going to top that up. I'm going to get a beer and a coffee. And then late night snack, s'mores.
That's 4.
okay, that wasn't part of
S'mores.
it.
You like s'mores?
S'more, please.
Wow. Okay.
Okay.
Al?
Eggs. Italian sandwich for lunch.
Ooh, from where?
I
He's just creating it.
nowhere around here,
I'm a club man.
and
I'm a club
nowhere
man.
in Portland either. I've not found like I mean, Jersey Mike's honestly for a chain does like a very good imitation of like East Coast hoagies. But man, when I went back to Philly, I had a hoagie there, and it was like beyond any sandwich I have had,
Wow.
either in Oklahoma City or in Portland.
Wow.
Oh, so that, and then
Up your sandwich game, OKC.
up
Oh,
a sandwich game, and then for dinner, I might head over with you.
Come on,
I might
Tanatide.
do some. So I might get some Thai basil. Some Thai
Oh.
basil.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Jay?
Pizza?
Pizza?
I think pizza would be my one of them.
Breakfast.
Maybe my lunch.
Yeah.
Maybe my lunch. I like club sandwiches though. Anyway, morning probably some sort of country breakfast, right? Sausage, eggs, hash browns, bacon, gravy, biscuits, everything. I want everything
Pancakes.
for breakfast.
Yeah.
Pancakes,
Yeah.
French toast, waffles. Lunch, I'm gonna go with pizza for lunch. Probably a Hideaway pizza. I like Hideaway. I like their
Yeah.
You could go Chicago style pizza.
I
here.
like the Big Country at Hideaway. It's pretty good.
Yeah, Big Country's good.
So then for dinner, I probably have to go something red meat.
Yeah.
Like maybe a good ribeye.
I was going to say ribeye.
yeah, a
Ribeyes.
little mushroom sauce on it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
no.
then some good sides for that.
Now that we're talking about it, I'm realizing that Luke basically just eats his ultimate 3-course meal every day because he just has fast food for every meal.
Yeah.
Every
He's
meal.
living.
He just gets to live this life
Wow.
nonstop all day.
Arby's.
Oh, he maybe throw that sushi place he likes.
Oh, Inaka, yeah. That's
Yeah.
gonna definitely be in Luke's death row meal.
Next question.
Our next Twitter question. What's your death row meal? No, next Twitter
You
question.
just committed a horrific crime.
You've been on death row for the last 13 years. You've been thinking day in, day out about this meal. At Michael Scott Pro, do y'all think lasagna is a casserole or strictly a pasta dish?
Never considered this question.
Yeah, I actually looked it up.
Pasta.
Most people say it is technically, if you define casserole the way it's defined, yes, lasagna is casserole,
Right.
but lasagna is like another level of food above a casserole. Like
Yeah.
I think casseroles is side dishes, or
Ooh.
as part of a larger meal.
Yeah, or just
usually.
like I think that's fair. You can do some casseroles that are more of the dominant feature in a meal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
It's got a lot of meat in it,
a lot of
cheese,
meat.
Spaghetti.
spaghetti. We do a spaghetti casserole.
Yeah, we did one.
I think a casserole is just a way to cook that food. I
Is a
don't think it's
casserole
like- you can
defined
do whatever
by
you
being
want
in a
as
casserole,
a casserole
dish?
Yeah, I think
So
so.
you can put whatever you want in a casserole. dish.
Yeah, I mean, how many different kinds of casseroles have you had? It's whatever you want.
I'm sure you've had a lot of casseroles
A
lately.
lot of
So
casseroles.
pasta is the answer.
It's
I think
pasta.
pasta.
You think the Italians, when they made lasagna, they're like, "This is a casserole.
I'm sure McKelly's going to appreciate that one.
This is not a pasta."
I think it's a casserole.
What if,
All right.
what if Michele quits the pod after hearing that?
He's so offended.
He's so offended.
Oh, sorry, Mikey.
At Matt Faith 74, the Thunder franchise inexplicably slips into a black hole
Oh, who's
tomorrow.
negative now?
Presty, Chip, SGA, Giddy, Chet, and Dort no longer exist. Who's your new favorite franchise?
So Matthew could have just said OKC doesn't have a team anymore. Like they get bought and moved. Instead, not only do they slip into a black hole, the players are just gone.
They just don't
They
exist.
don't even exist.
Wipe from the record.
What's it called in Marvel when half the population goes away?
Snap.
The snap, yeah, or whatever that's called. The gulag.
What?
Nope.
So I was thinking about this
What?
because I was thinking about Premier League. I had to choose a team,
Yeah.
and I was thinking about if I was like a non-basketball fan who wasn't affiliated with any city,
Mm-hmm.
and I was choosing an NBA team just from scratch. If I went about the same process, what team would I end up with?
So who did you pick?
I picked Brighton, and I picked it based on I didn't want a good team.
Yeah, it's not like I'm going to pick Liverpool.
Yeah, because I would feel like I was cheating. But I also didn't want to pick like a truly awful team in which over there they would have a chance to get relegated because that would
Yeah, when I
Which
tried to do
actually
that, when I tried
might
to
happen to Brighton because we just lost our coach and the entire staff.
when I
and
tried
so
to
we'll
do
see
that, I
what
picked Everton because I was like, Everton's like a team
Yeah.
that exists, and then I just
And they
couldn't
had
follow them.
They had a Tim Howard, so they were
That
like a
was it,
very
too.
popular like American choice. So if I was taking that same route, basically you're trying to get on a bandwagon just before a team gets good. Like I chose Brighton last year; they'd never finished better than like I think 15th, and then last year they finished top 10.
Wow.
So you want something like that.
Yeah.
And the team I ended up on was the Orlando Magic.
Ooh,
Because even if like at this
you've already
point,
started this hype train.
I have started this hype train, but you can't go with even like the Cavs now. Like the Cavs would have been like kind of a pick
Why
that
couldn't
made
you? Why
sense.
couldn't you go with the
Oh,
Cavs?
you can. I'm just saying using my decision tree.
Yeah.
I can't do the Cavs now.
But they have. I mean, they didn't even make the playoffs last year.
I know, but it's like
They also
we
have
know
a
what's
history.
gonna
Of,
happen.
they also have a
Donovan
history of
Mitchell,
success.
Are
It
you
was-
just saying because it's Donovan Mitchell now?
Yeah.
Like if I did it like a day before the Donovan Mitchell trade, that's what you want.
Yeah, that is like the ultimate.
Yeah,
You
that's
couldn't.
it right
you
there.
couldn't do the Pelicans either in that line of thinking.
Yeah, I mean, you can do any of these, obviously, but I think for the way I was thinking about the Premier League, I would have ended up with Orlando. You guys are welcome to choose any team you want.
Thank you.
I mean, thanks.
The Mavs.
The Lakers.
I really got into Boston, last year during
Mhm.
the playoffs. Like I don't know why. I genuinely couldn't tell. I kind of like their coach,
Yeah.
but that's about all I can think of. Maybe
You
it's
kind
all
of like
over.
their coach. That's why you like them.
Yeah,
No,
that's where you started.
Yeah, sorry.
I just love
that's my guy.
coaches.
Huge fan. No, that was one that I liked the way they played. I like Marcus Smart, Al Horford, a lot of their players. But if I'm going, I really kind of am pulling for the Pelicans.
Mhm.
You made
Yeah.
me dislike the Grizzlies with incredible logic last year.
And
where
the
it was like,
Grizzlies are one of those like ultimate hype trains.
Yeah.
Where like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
especially if you were a non-NBA fan jumping on last year, I feel like the Grizzlies would have been the easy choice.
yeah. I just CJ, Brandon Ingram. I love their coach.
What a great coach.
I'm sure it's
There's just
Willie.
so
Is it
many
Willie
great
Green? That's Willie
coaches.
Green, right?
Yeah, Willie Green.
okay.
Yeah.
Man, if you had picked them before last year, now that is like
yes,
Yeah.
or
that's-
even in the
that's-
first 20 games last year,
That's
when they won,
disgusting.
like, one.
Yeah.
who would be the last team you'd pick? Oh, you can answer, Andrew. And then who would be the last team you'd pick?
The last team, I don't know. I think also the Timberwolves would be an interesting one to choose.
Yes.
Just because of Ant, and then like they're making moves. They're trying to be good.
Yeah.
I think that would be a fun one.
I wouldn't be mad at you choosing them.
Yeah.
Is it chaotic to choose Portland?
They have a really good fan base.
Yeah.
They have cool jerseys,
They do
colors.
have cool jerseys. You have
They've got
Damian Lillard,
an
but-
immediate star that you can like identify with, and it's been there a
Mhm.
long time.
Yeah.
that you can just like jump right in with. I do think ultimately long term their outlook is good, but they need to sell the team. And
Yeah.
if Phil Knight buys it, then everything will be
It'd be pretty
great,
great.
and amazing.
Yeah.
But if something else happens, then I am a little bit worried about Portland.
Yeah. I wouldn't choose Portland.
What about if I chose the Spurs right now?
I was gonna say the two bottom teams are the Spurs and the Jazz.
And
Like
I
those
would
are
definitely
teams.
choose this. Well, which one would you choose? Spurs or Jazz?
I think I would go Jazz.
Then you got to buy those jerseys to support your team.
Oh,
You could get a
no.
Fiesta Spurs jersey, or you could get a highlighter jersey.
You just can't. Do you identify with Spurs culture more or Jazz culture more?
I
I don't even know what jazz culture is.
It's racist.
was gonna say.
So now that I just said that, I think you have
yeah,
to
I
pick
think
the
you gotta
Spurs.
choose the Spurs now.
You don't really have a. So you tell me you identify with
Jazz after I say that.
Jazz.
Without like
Oh,
thinking.
now that you mentioned it,
Prudent franchise building or racism? Which one do you
Yeah.
identify with more?
I-
Yeah.
the least though, I mean, it's you always go back to the ones you like the Kings. That'd be a brutal one to try to follow. Like, would you be at
Yeah.
all excited to follow them this year?
I mean, people are.
Every year, though. They are.
I know.
Every year for the last decade,
The
there's
Knicks
been
are
like
the
"What?"
easiest one for me to be like, I can't.
I would
Although-
never. Yeah.
Yeah.
all
I-
of
I
the
can-
environment, like the Madison Square Garden, the Knicks fans, the energy in the arena, even when they're bad, like that is a benefit. But their team product has been so bad
Yeah.
for a
No,
long time.
you wouldn't want to watch that.
You wouldn't.
Yeah, the Knicks might be the worst one, just because you can sell hope for the Spurs and the Jazz.
And the Kings.
Well, the Kings have been selling hope for a decade and
Also-
a half.
Pretty good at it.
There's kind
Yeah.
of a downside to joining like a very well-established fan base where like you're just suddenly waltzing in like, oh, I'm a fan too now.
Yeah.
Whereas like I feel like with Orlando, you can just kind of like sneak in the back door and like
You're
5
one-
years later, everyone's
That's
like, yeah,
true.
I've been a Magic fan my
You're
entire
one of
life.
the five
Yeah.
fans. I tried to do that. I kind of went the opposite direction. Not the opposite direction, but when I was younger, I always wanted to pick the crap team. It's like nobody pulled like so when I was younger, I became a New Orleans Saints fan.
Wow.
Because
So
they
you,
were-
you
they
weren't
were-
a glory chaser.
they
That's
were
like
the
opposite of
Aints.
most kids.
No, I wasn't. It depended. Like I also followed Shaq, so I
Mhm.
was a Lakers fan. But
It's balance.
it was either the Colts back in the '90s or it was the Saints, and so I picked the Saints just because I don't know.
That
I
kind of
liked
worked
their
out.
The Aints, but by the time they got good, I stopped caring about them.
Oh,
No.
that didn't work
No,
out.
it didn't
That worked out not at all.
Another backdoor team would be Charlotte. I think you could be a Charlotte fan right now, and people
Yeah.
wouldn't question it.
Yeah, the hard part is you have to be
Yeah.
a Charlotte fan.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, that's a
What's
tough
You-
the
one.
goal here?
You'd have to feel. And by the way, I feel like it's already starting, but I think LaMelo is going to be the next like Shea guy, where everyone's coming up with fake trade proposals. It's obviously too early for it, but I feel like he's the next in line. And so, like, if you felt,
And Mile Bridges, just
yeah,
No, that's
it's
true.
definitely
That
not a
whole
good time to be
disaster.
jumping on
Yeah, it's not.
the Hornets.
Yeah.
Good point.
Don't even want to call it a bandwagon.
Yeah.
And
What
it's like Steve Clifford. Like, if it was Kenny
Yeah.
Atkinson, you can kind of
Right.
like sell yourself on like, okay, we have drafted all these young guys. Here's a
Yeah.
developmental coach. This is a narrative that I can get behind.
Mhm.
Instead, it's like Steve Clifford fighting for 41 wins every year, and it's like, who cares?
Yeah, it's gonna be terrible. What about the Hawks as a choice for your team?
The Hawks have just never appealed to me for some reason.
But I
have,
just
like
want,
a
like-
natural aversion to them.
Because like they went Eastern Conference Finals to like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
And now like they've got DeJounte Murray.
it's a definitely buy
Who
low
did they trade to
opportunity.
get DeJounte? Did they lose any of their guys that we care about?
They
Like
traded.
DeAndre Hunter didn't get traded.
Mm-mm.
No, they did trade.
John Collins is still
Herter.
there.
Bunch of picks.
Yeah, Herter went to the
Herter.
Kings, right?
Yeah, I don't think they traded anybody that was like key rotation player.
They
Herter
traded.
was.
Yeah, Herter
They
was.
traded Danilo Gallinari,
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Gallon Mommies
Gallon Mommies,
went to the Celtics though.
and is now probably out.
Yep.
Well, he is out.
Torn
Definitely out.
For his ACL.
Hey Taylor, take that gift.
no,
No.
get out of here.
You can also take anything off the shelf.
There's a card in there.
All will be explained.
See you in the cave later. Okay.
It's chaos, man.
Yes. This is from at Zach Deeg. What food would you recommend no one ever try? Oysters for me.
I don't mind oysters actually.
I've not had like traditional
Yeah.
oysters before.
The Drake here in Oklahoma City has pretty good oysters, but and oysters for me, it's like they've got a huge, like super briny taste.
Mhm.
And then you just put hot sauce on them or
Yeah.
horseradish or whatever. and they're
Yeah.
okay. I don't like a lot of raw vegetables,
Okay.
particularly raw onions. Not a fan of raw.
So you'd
onions.
recommend no one ever?
But
eat a
well,
raw
that's okay.
onion?
That's probably a bad.
Not even on a burger?
Actually, one of my favorite
Not
YouTube
raw onions.
videos.
No.
Hmm.
Grill them.
Oh yeah,
Don't
great.
destroy.
Yeah, they're
some
very
grilled
different. I
onions.
like raw onions on a burger.
One of my favorite YouTube videos of all time is this. He's like 12. He's like a 12-year-old kid named Stewie who reviews an onion, and his like dad bought him an onion for to do like a YouTube review, and he just bites into it without peeling anything yet. Like, he doesn't know anything.
through the skin.
Yeah, and he has like the greatest voice. he sounds like Bullwinkle or something. Like this kid is bizarre, and he got like so much hate for this video. They eventually stopped making videos, but it was such a funny video. If he had waited a few years, he would have recognized it. Like, oh, this is just a good video. But yeah, look up Stewie reviews an onion.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say bread and butter pickles. I hate bread and butter pickles.
But can you do normal pickles?
Oh yeah, that's the problem. Like dill pickles are so good. They perfected it, and then they decided to make these like meal. They're like they taste like shoe to me. Bread and butter pickles. Anytime I bite into a sandwich thinking I'm about to get dill,
and it's bread and butter.
That's the
it's just
problem.
Ruined.
You always think you're about to taste dill, and then it's bread and butter. Awful. Awful. Food.
I eat like a child, so it's hard for me because there's a lot of things I just don't eat.
Yeah. The only thing I really like just do not like, and it's like more of like a texture thing, is I just don't like mushrooms.
Oh, I love
Oh,
mushrooms.
that's upsetting.
Yeah, I know it's an unpopular.
But you've
take.
had fried ones.
I mean, I've had all kinds. I've tried them.
Hideaway's fried mushrooms, man.
Yeah, I just don't like.
Undefeated.
Yeah, I just don't like them. At Pepsi United, after the Mitchell trade, the point of discussion is that Cleveland won't be able to offer Mobley the designated rookie extension unless they trade Mitchell, or there's a rule change in the new CBA. Do you think this kind of change would benefit OKC?
Now he's talking about if they change the rule or like our chances of getting Evan
If they
Mobley.
change the rule.
Okay. Because I was looking it up and Brian Windhorst did a good job explaining this, but like they can still offer him a 4-year extension, max extension, and they can just wait for him to be a restricted free agent and offer 5-year max.
Right, exactly.
So
that's what you do, is you just wait.
Who cares?
Yeah. What does it matter that it's the extension? Like you can just say like, hey, because the way our team is structured, like we've been to the Eastern Conference Finals last year, but you're just gonna have to wait.
And if he says like, no, I want something now, then you can offer him the 4-year max.
Yeah.
And he can take that then. For OKC, do you know why that rule was put into place? Because I don't either. I know the way I said that made it sound like I was about to explain it, but I don't know why that's in there. And it's kind of like made some things unfun. Like the fact that was the immediate talking point.
Yeah.
Like that shouldn't be a concern for Cleveland. A team like Cleveland should be allowed to trade for Donovan Mitchell and not have any concerns about maxing Evan Mobley in the future.
Yeah. I think it's about teams just having like it's about spreading talent. Like a lot of those rules are just about trying to spread the talent,
which always ends up hurting a small market team that's trying to build a collection of young players.
Yes. Yeah, almost always. I mean, you hope that is a issue for OKC at some point.
Yeah, for real.
You know,
that they actually have that many guys that you have to think about that.
Yeah, so you have that problem that you've had already 2 max extension rookies.
Yeah.
You just hope that it's Giddey and that like Chet is in line and you have to wait for his restricted free agency to give him the 5.
I wonder if you could. Are you allowed to give $1 less? And does that is that a loophole?
Max?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then just pay them under the table $1, and then the league finds out, and you get stripped of all your future.
Right. You hand them a pack of gum or something afterwards. You know. I don't know. My guess is that no, you can't do that.
But maybe
you could.
And also, what is the line? Is it $1,000? Could you give them $1,000 below the max? Like, what do you have to do for it to not be considered a rookie max extension?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. There's got to be some rule in place though, because you could just be like, yeah, they gave him $500 less than the max extension.
Yeah.
And now he's still getting the same amount of money basically.
Right.
But now he's out. It's just, I don't know that rule. Bye, Jay.
Just losing podcasts.
Everybody's
one
leaving
by one.
this tap on. Now it's a Wednesday pod.
Now we're just a Wednesday pod.
But we're going to talk about part 2 of Summers of Sam.
2019.
2019. Let's see. Last question from @Trust the Void. If you could take any of the current Thunder players out for an ice cream date, who would you take?
Now, we've talked about this before. Like, if you're in your 20s, I feel like the entire roster is open to you.
Yeah.
When you're like in your mid to late 30s, like
hanging out with somebody who's 19 is like, We just have not a lot in common.
So you almost have to go the oldest player on the team. Like Derek I would feel more comfortable hanging out with Derek Favors than like hanging out with Usman Jang or like J Dub.
100%. J Dub, I don't know. J Dub is cool. He's a cool guy.
I guess I could talk video games with J Dub.
Yes, you can talk video games. He's easy to talk to. Jang would be a rough hang. Maybe that's a better question. Like, who's the roughest hang on the team?
Well, yeah, obviously, if there's any issue, I haven't heard Jang speak yet, so I actually don't know.
He can. It's a work in progress.
Yeah,
is what I would say.
Because that would obviously make it tougher.
Yeah. He can carry a conversation though.
So yeah, I would go Favors or Muscala or Kenrich.
I go Muscala or Kenrich. Maybe Kenrich. Yeah, Kenrich is the best. Kenrich or Muscala are the two that I would go with. But yeah, I think Teo Maladone, if he's still on the team, would be the roughest hang.
Yeah, I feel like he's. There's a lot of evidence for that at this point.
Oh man, thanks so much for listening to our podcast. We'll be back on Monday with some more voicemails. So if you want to leave us a voicemail over the weekend, you can get that into the podcast. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We'll talk to you guys again on Monday.